Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 milliamp hour power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Breaking news, folks. We've got a real story for you tonight on Real News Daily. You might be thinking, King of the Hill, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it turns out the show's former star Jonathan Joss is at the center of a very serious scandal. According to reports, Jonathan Joss was escorted off a panel days before his murder. That's right, folks, we're talking about a tragic event that happened just days before the man himself took his last breath. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did this happen? And let me tell you, it's a pretty wild story. Jonathan Joss was set to appear on a panel at a convention, and things were supposed to be looking up for him. But then, just days before the event, he found himself in a bit of trouble. It turns out that Joss had been involved in some shady dealings, and authorities were closing in on him. Now, I want to make it clear that we don't know all the details of what happened, but sources close to the investigation are telling us that Joss was being watched by law enforcement at the time of his murder. That's right, folks. The man who had just days before been escorted off a panel was still a suspect in a serious crime. But here's the thing. Real News Daily has dug deep into this story, and what we've found is that there's more to this case than meets the eye. We're talking about a complex web of corruption and deceit that goes all the way to the top. And let me tell you, it's a doozy. We spoke to sources who claim that Joss was part of a larger organization that was involved in some pretty shady activities. And get this, one of those organizations is still operating under the radar today. That's right, folks, there are still people out there who are involved in corrupt dealings, and they're getting away with it. Now I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with King of the Hill? Well, let me tell you, it's a connection that might surprise you. It turns out that Joss had been friends with some of the show's biggest names, including its star, Mike Judge. But here's the thing. Real News Daily has uncovered evidence that suggests Joss's involvement in corrupt dealings went all the way to the top of the show's production team. That's right, folks. It looks like some of the people who were supposed to be holding Joss accountable might have been in on the scandal too. It's a wild story, and it's one that raises so many questions. What was going on behind the scenes of King of the Hill? How far did the corruption go? And what happened to Jonathan Joss? Well, we may never know for sure, but what we do know is that Real News Daily has been all over this story from day one. We're not afraid to ask tough questions and get to the bottom of things. And that's exactly what we've done here. So there you have it, folks, a look at the wild world of Jonathan Joss and the scandal surrounding his murder. It's a story that's both shocking and thought-provoking, and one that Real News Daily is committed to covering every step of the way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.